It's not coming.
Promise for anyone. Shut up and listen. Hey yo, I sit back with this pack. And this, it gets me needed to be the most meanest MC on this earth. And since birth, I've been cursed with this curse.
All right, we are live, and we're streaming live here in iWatch Radio Studios. Normally every Friday from 5 to 7, we're at Parrot Sports Bar and Grill, streaming live from there. Today, not so lucky. We're going to be here in the studios, but we want to thank Parrot Sports Bar and Grill for allowing us to be there streaming live. We will be back there next Friday, but this week we will do it here at the iWatch Radio Studios. And we want to thank Marty and Ken out there. They have a great time over there in Parrot Sports Bar and Grill. We're going to have a quick show for you. We got some debut shows starting up today. So we're going to have a quick sports show for you guys. And this is the Allstar Sports Show. I'm your host, Patrick Gallagher. To my left, Arlington Lane, a.k.a. A-Train, is in the building. And we are ready to get it going. So Parrot Sports Bar and Grill, go check them out on parrotsbar.net and check them out on there. And also, I want to thank our sponsor, Paul, at creationsplus.org. Go check them out if you want any electrical repairs or custom ponds or waterfalls. So creationsplus.org, go check that out as one of our sponsors in the All-Star Sports Show. Let's get the show going, man. And I've been waiting for this show. You got kind of lucky because we were ready to do a 2-hour special of nothing but basketball. We're going to talk some Cardinal baseball too, because there's some good things going on, and there's some other news in sports that we got to talk about too. But let's knock it off with some NBA playoffs. And those who do know, check it out, iWatchRadio.com on Facebook. Go like the page and go check out my personal page, Patrick Gallagher. Go check that out, as I saw some things going wrong with the Heat and the Bulls, and I told myself, something's got to be done here. Something's got to be done. And so I said, I'm going to Chicago. I don't care how I'm going to get there. I'm going there to support the Miami Heat, and I'm going to go get them a win. And what do you know? 9 hours on the train. I get to United Center, sitting in the stands, the only Miami Heat fan in the thousands in United Center, just rooting for the Bulls. And we pulled it out. Miami Heat, 85 to what? 75. Wow. I mean, wow. What's going on?
First of all, I just want to say this. To all you Miami fans out there, you need to go thank Oprah Winfrey. You need to write personal letters to her right now and thank her for pushing the game back to Wednesday instead of on a Tuesday when it was scheduled.
Yes.
But since a billionaire thinks that she can just run the whole city of Chicago, and she said, I can do my personal finale on this day, and I'm pushing your game back to Wednesday, I'm going to do that. That's why Oprah will always be second best, folks, not first.
MJ
what's your
is the
pick?
First. MJ, so you got MJ
over Oprah. If
They did a stats on ESPN.
Yeah, they did.
And it was MJ 500+ million versus Oprah's 2 billion.
Understand this. Understand Jordan does not. If he owned Nike, it would have been a different ballgame.
Yeah.
But since he has a brand of his own, that's why he doesn't get the $1 billion or net income like Oprah does. Yeah. Oprah has her own freaking network.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
And MJ, some say that Jordan haters are the very few. Some say like, well, Jordan probably gambled about 200, 300 million.
So?
I mean, so that to his net worth,
Don't forget he had to give up half his assets to his wife for the divorce.
That's true.
So, I mean,
Oprah wasn't having that. Stedman was like, so I guess it, no.
It's called a prenup if we ever get married. Ever.
That's what it's all about. But let's go back. You're trying to, divvy away from the real.
A little bit.
I had to go up to United Center. I saw all those Chicago Bulls fans up there, and they're talking, while I was over at getting a little deep dish pizza.
It looked really good, man.
It's delicious, man. A little pepperoni sausage and some green pepper on that too, It was delicious. But we were watching, and everybody's just like, We're so excited. The Bulls are going to, they beat the Heat by 20. There's no way the Bulls can beat us. We got everything, our defense, Derrick Rose. And I kept saying to all those basketball people who know basketball, and it really shocked me that Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith were on the Bulls bandwagon.
Hating.
They were on their bandwagon saying, oh, well, we think the Bulls, their defense is one of the best I've ever seen, is what they said. Okay, so I watch basketball. I played basketball. I know.
Don't trip.
Game 2 is one of the most important games in a series because the first game is a mere test of kind of figuring out what you're going to come against.
Mm-hmm.
Game 2 is adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
And Game 2, the Miami Heat adjusted, and they stopped the Bulls right at their place, and Derrick Rose had nowhere to go. Nowhere to go.
That is true. They didn't have anywhere to go, but there were times in the ball game, and I know you saw this yourself, when the game was tied at 73, and I think for like a minute or two, 2 minute, 3 minute stretch, there was no baskets.
Yeah.
There was nothing. Anybody at that point could have pulled away. Of course, the Miami Heat did.
Yeah.
Of course, they closed out the game with a 12-2 run to end the game. But that was, I believe, the moment where the Bulls could have had an extra push, but they couldn't get a shot to go down.
No.
So, and I saw it myself. Rose could not get anywhere. The Miami Heat defense really adjusted.
Yeah.
Wherever he went, they were there. So, and that was, I would say, great defense from Miami. I have to give it to them for what they did, especially to pull out and only give up 75 points.
That's what I've been saying the whole time. The Bulls have great defense. There's no doubt about that. They have great defense. But the Miami Heat are a defensive team. They're an athletic team, but they are a defensive team. They're one of the best in the league. Now, when you look at the matchups, and what I've been saying this whole time is the matchups for Miami Heat are far better than Chicago Bulls. And if you watch it, you can see that because Derrick Rose, you're not going to be guarded by Mike Bibby the whole game. When it comes down to crunch time, Wade and LeBron James will be on you, and it's not going to be so easy. So he's better get off early. If he doesn't, it's going to be a long game for him. And it really shocked me how, like, Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith talking about how the Chicago Bulls are far better. Their matchups are better than the Miami Heat. It really shocked me because these guys have played basketball all their life, and I'm watching it and I'm looking at it and I'm saying, who on the Bulls other than Derrick Rose can score the basketball? There's nobody that's really scoring the basketball. Now, Game 1 was, to me, really just a fluke. And I'm not saying that just because I'm a Heat fan and things like that, but those who know, the Bulls are not that much better to win by 20. It just seemed like everything went right from them in Game 1. Everything. From shots rattling in and rattling out, from the ball bouncing off, rebounds going straight to their players. It just looked like the Miami Heat weren't ready to play, and they said it the whole time. We just weren't ready to play, and the Bulls just outmatched us. They out-hustled us. In Game 2, you saw the adjustment. The adjustment was Miami Heat are going to box out. Once they box out and rebound, they're pushing the rock. Once they start pushing the rock, it's going to be very tough to stop them. And not only that, they're going to play good defense by playing. They're going to try to see what Derrick Rose does in the beginning. They're going to let a Mike Bibby guard him. And if he doesn't get off early, it's going to be tough for him because they're going to play the other players. And it just looks to me, 75 points at home on the playoff game after you demolish them in Game 1, that's adjustment to me. And I see this series going 6, Miami winning 4 games to 2 against Chicago.
Got to beg to differ with you on that, Patrick. I just see the Bulls are going to take it in 7. Now, the reason I say that is because of this. You can't have a more intense playoff matchup than these two teams. These are the number 1 and number 2 teams in the Eastern Conference. And so with that being said, yes, the Bulls only scored 75 points on Wednesday, and so being
35% shooting,
and that's what the Bulls are. At this point, I love the Bulls,
right?
And it's like you have to have your shot following. You have to make sure you follow your shot every single time. And it seemed like every time that they took a shot, it was going off the mark. And so I don't know what happened in between from Sunday to Wednesday. I don't know if they were still on a high from Sunday and then they got on Wednesday and they were still on that high to the point that when they were out there shooting, everything was going off. So
adjustments.
It was. Of course, it was adjustments. Lionel Chalmers did an amazing.
Mario.
I say his name. Lionel. Is not even in the NBA anymore. Mario Chalmers was that guy that helped defend Derrick Rose. Of course, LeBron James and Dwayne Wade got crucial steals at many points during the game. So Rose is definitely turnover prone, but I was looking for the guys like Dang and Boozer, and they came up way short. But you hit the nail on the head when you said that Miami boxed out.
Yeah.
And they were able to run. That's what you have to do if you want to stop the Chicago Bulls, because the Chicago Bulls are an offensive rebounding team. They go straight to the glass.
Yep.
The minute they know that ball, it looks like it's going to be off the mark, they are there. There's at least 3-4 men that is ready for the ball. So you have to box out. You have to make sure that you got your elbows up. I mean, just letting anybody that plays basketball, that's what you have to do when you're in the game. When you see the ball going up to the rim, you find your man and you box out. When you do that, it is definitely the ball will come to you. If not, it's more than likely there's a chance it could be an over the back call. So that's what Miami definitely did. They rebounded, and when it came down to it, they took advantage of it, and they did. Like I said, the 12-2 run to close out the ball game is definitely what they needed, especially with big baskets from LeBron James.
I think the thing that I love was the addition of a Udonis Haslem coming in after not playing the whole season, and this guy was a catalyst for their team. This is their spark plug. This is their Joakim Noah, so to speak, that gets after it. And the guy came in and played a remarkable game. 13 points, 5 rebounds, but that doesn't say enough of what this guy is able to do. He is that tough presence that they need. He's undersized, but he gets after it. And he had some rim shaking dunks. I mean, he had some ridiculous dunks in the game, and he's going to have 4 days rest here to get back after it. I think that's a huge addition to this team. And they're flying high right now. Now that they've got Haslam in there, who can guard a center, who can guard a power forward, but also he can hit that mid-range jumper. If they were to play a pick and roll, he can hit that mid-range jumper. It's just going to add to that Miami Heat team, and they're loving the fact that Udonis Haslem is back in there, and they are they're all about it. And I think this team is going to even get even that much better. And the thing that I love about watching the Heat is that they are very aggressive on defense and offense, but
they have to be, because
that's what they're all about.
Because they're not a half court team. Because when and we saw that in game one. When you saw in game one, when they were in the half court offense, it was mostly one person had the ball.
But in game two, they motioned.
They moved the ball.
Whole game. I was sitting in the stands, the only Miami Heat fan, by the way, and I kept saying. The whole time when they were playing offense, I was like, in the beginning of the game, I knew they started off well, because it was all motion, it was all pick and roll, and I said that in the beginning. 3 words: pick and roll. If they do those things and get that motion, they're going to be hard to stop.
It was definitely hard to break down, because it was something that Miami doesn't usually do, and so for the Bulls, for them, it was a whole new thing. So with that, you had to make quick adjustments that they could not, and they couldn't make them because they were able to execute each and every time with that pick and roll. Yes, the pick and roll is dangerous.
Yeah.
And that goes for any any NBA offensive team, even basketball, whether high school, college, even in the young youth in AAU can run a pick and roll and make it effective.
Yeah.
That's how deep that the pick and roll really works. And so if you utilize it and you utilize it correctly, you're dangerous.
Yeah. And if they don't go one-on-one, I think they're going to be a very tough team to beat. If they get that motion, get some pick and roll, and get out, rebound, and get out on the break, that's their game. If they do those things and you start seeing that in the game, it's going to spell trouble for Chicago. So you still sticking with Chicago?
Of course I am.
7?
I'm still sticking with
Chicago. I know
Chicago.
You can't be real excited about that pick.
I can't actually be excited because why? the thing is, when you get to game 3, the opening is like what you said. It's going to take that first quarter.
Derrick Rose is going to have to get off.
It's not just, and believe it or not, it's not just going to be Derrick Rose. It's going to be the usual suspects, is what NBA.com has referred them to, and you have to utilize Dang, Boozer, get them going. If you get them going, definitely